because my dog's been barking, so
Oh.
I apologize.
I got to
Kind
know
of
the
dog,
streaming is turned on.
What kind of dog do you have?
She's she was her mother was rescued pregnant, so we know she's
Okay,
part
we're
Havanese,
live.
but we
You
don't
can
know what
start
else.
the meeting.
Good evening. This is the meeting of the West Hartford Library Board, and the meeting will come to order. Welcome to the April 24th, 2023 meeting of the West Hartford Library Board. My name is Eileen. This meeting is being conducted in a virtual format as allowed by law. Members of the public can view the meeting live on West Hartford Community Television at www.whctv.org and www.youtube.com/WHCTV5. The meeting is also being recorded for on-demand viewing and will be available on the town's website for at least 45 days. Since we are conducting this meeting in a virtual format, there are some special rules and procedures that I need to cover before we begin. First, I ask all participants to mute your device when you are not speaking. If you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand and I will call on you in the order I see hands raised. If you are participating by audio only, or I do not call on you and the debate is ending, then unmute your phone and let me know so that I can recognize you. Second, all speakers must make a good faith effort to state the person's name and title at the outset of each occasion that such person participates in the meeting. Third, all votes must be taken by roll call unless the vote is unanimous. Fourth, a reminder that if any participant has a problem with connectivity, you should immediately call Janet Valensis, whose phone number you were provided earlier. Janet will let me know and we will recess the meeting while the problem is resolved. If it cannot be resolved quickly, we will ask you to call into the meeting using a phone and participate, via audio only. I will now call the roll and note the staff members who are present. Gail Crockett.
Gail Crockett, Library Board Member, present.
Great. Dr. Natalia Menjivar.
Natalia Menjivar, Library Board Member, present.
Okay. What else is here? EJ Greenspan.
EJ Greenspan, Library Board Member, present.
And myself. So also present is lrmscher, Library Director, Office Operations Specialist, Janet Valensis, and that wraps up our roll call. And we are
And Heidi Regan.
Yep.
And Heidi Regan, Office Operations Specialist.
That's correct. I was about to welcome you on board.
Oh, thank you.
Officially, we're so glad to have you.
I appreciate it.
Yes. We're here for you. And we're great. So let me get to my agenda. And excuse me. Here we are. So this is called the meeting to order. Second item is the public comment. Does anyone have any? Okay. So then we will move along to the approval of the consent agenda that includes items 4, 8AI, and 8AII. I have a motion to approve. Gail?
Gail Crockett, Library Board Member, move to approve the consent agenda.
All right, may I have a second? Okay, EJ?
Second, EJ Greenspan, Library Board Member.
Okay, wonderful. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll do the roll call. Okay. So, Natalia, can you start?
Sure. Natalia Menjivar, Library Board Member, approve.
Okay. Thank you. And then EJ?
EJ Greenspan, Library Board Member, I approve.
And Gail?
Gail Crockett, Library Board Member, approve.
All right, so that's that. Okay, so seeing no, we didn't need any discussion.
I don't know if you noticed, Kim was able to join us.
Yeah, Kim is just
Sorry?
joined us.
Oh,
Sorry, just joined us.
yeah, I can only see Janet, Natalia, EJ, and Gail, you know, so far. Let me see if I can make this better for us.
Sorry, I'm late, ladies. Nice to see you all.
No, we're glad to have you. Come on board. There she is. Hi, Kim. So, would you, the three of us is a quorum, isn't it? Out of us, so I don't have to include her. So we're all set. You get to vote on other things tonight.
Fair enough. I wasn't totally sure what you were voting on. That's fine.
Yeah, just the consent agenda. Excuse me. Okay, so we're moving on to the chair's report for item 5. And this is is Laura's item for her 2023 director's goals. So Laura, you have the floor.
Thank you, Eileen. Laura Mscher, Library Director. Board members, I emailed you a document, and this is just kind of wrapping up the discussion that we had in February. So you, as part of my evaluation, you had shared some goals, and I had put some goals in my self-evaluation. So I just put the two into one document, and I just wanted to confirm that this is what I'm working off of as my goals for the year. We're a quarter in, and several of them are underway. But I just wanted to make sure that you were comfortable that we're in agreement that this is what I'm working on, and I'll be giving you updates on the progress as we go. I don't think there's a vote or anything necessary. I think it's just an opportunity for discussion if anybody had any comments.
Hang on a sec. I think you did a fabulous job getting us engaged with these. Does anyone have any comments or happy with what was provided? I think you're good to go, Laura. Great. Sounds of things. This,
okay.
You know, when I took a look at them, I thought, wow, if you get half of these done, you'll be making great progress because there's a lot. And anyone? Nothing. Okay. Laura, if you have any questions or want help from us on any of these items that we'll keep, you know, within reach, we will be glad to offer anything that we might that might be helpful. So
thank you. Natalia, I don't know if you were talking. I thought I saw your lips moving, but you're
I think you need.
Just telling my son to turn around and go back upstairs. No worries.
Sorry.
Those kids. All right. Well, I would take this as a win, Laura, and I think we'll just move on. Item 6 concerns old business, and that too belongs to Laura for the budget update and the library business. So.
Thank you. So I wanted to let you know where we stand with our FY24 budget. So since we last met, I presented the library's budget to the Town Council's Human and Community Services Subcommittee. And just a reminder that our budget was submitted with mostly level funding with increases for wages and salaries. And then our two major asks were to fund the vacant librarian position and our fine-free proposal. So I presented that budget. Our town councilors had some great questions about the budget and our library operations, and I always appreciate the opportunity to tell them more about what we do. The town council is voting tomorrow on the adoption of the budget. I met with the town manager this afternoon and asked him if he had heard of any changes or concerns about the library's budget, and he said I could relay that he's very confident that the position will be funded in the budget. So I am cautiously optimistic that we will see that, but we'll get the final notification after town council votes tomorrow night.
That's terrific.
And then once I hear, I will let you know.
Okay. I think that's terrific. So.
Did you want me to go into the second old business, or is there any questions on that one?
I think Natalia's got something.
Natalia Menhubar, our library board member, I just want to say kudos to you for staying on top of it and not letting that, lack of funding from the past year kind of go, ignored, and to keep the pressure on and have that, last minute meeting that they know that that you're staying on top of it and want, to definitely get it funded. So kudos for, the persistence and the perseverance.
Thank you. It's really important for our organization. So we're almost there. I'm hopeful that I'll have great news to share Wednesday morning.
Yes. Okay. All right. Would you like to move on? Yeah, for the library ebook.
Thank you. So I wanted to provide an update. This was another thing that I had shared information with you at our last meeting. So I think this all happened since my last report, that there were 2 bills that actually came out of 2 different committees that are about ebooks in libraries. And these bills, both bills had the same exact language. They were just coming out of 2 different committees. And the aim is to have fair terms for libraries purchasing ebooks and downloadable audiobooks. The intention is to have terms that are similar to how we purchase print books, instead of having them at much higher cost, and to have terms that are still fair to publishers and authors. We're not looking to skirt that. We're just looking to cut out the excessive cost that libraries face. So one of the bills, as I understand it, has more momentum than the other, and I think it's just based on like who's in the committee. So it's HB 6800. It's coming out of the Planning and Development Committee, and so at this point they've had hearings. People have provided written testimony and spoken at the hearings, and so people are urged to contact their local legislators and tell them that they support the bill, let them know why it's important, and if anyone has any personal stories about how they use the libraries, how they use these collections. I was at the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee last week, and I happened to mention this bill, and they were all very interested in it because they use ebooks for the font size, because they can enlarge it for anyone who has needs to change fonts or font sizes to help them read. They use a lot of the audiobooks, and they didn't understand why the library didn't have things. So when I started explaining restrictions that some publishers won't sell to libraries, that some have such higher costs that we can't afford them, this was something that was very personal to them. So I'm just encouraging anyone who is able to contact their legislators, tell them that this has a real impact on people, and we're hopeful that this will move forward. We had a bill last year that barely moved at all. We've seen a lot of interest this year, so we're optimistic that even if it doesn't go all the way this year, that we can build on this support for next year. And I want to thank the board. I know some of you have contacted me individually and submitted testimony, and I really appreciate your support for our library and for how much this means for the community. So thank you. Any questions? I'm happy to answer those.
Well, I'm glad that things are moving along, and it looks promising that the bill will pass for you. Any questions for anyone, for Laura? No? Okay. So,
I think EJ has a question, maybe.
I'm sorry, I can only see 3 of you, the 4 of you. I've got Kim and Natalia and Gail, and you.
Yes, I have a. This is EJ Greenspan, board member. I have a question.
All right, sorry, I don't know how. I don't know why you're not showing. I can't get everybody today.
Right, that's okay. So, Laura, if we've already submitted something, a written testimony, is there anything more we as board members or members of the community can do to help support this bill?
You can certainly talk about it. Encourage anyone who might, if you post on social media, kind of amplify. I wrote an op-ed. There's another op-ed from the CLC executive director, so you could amplify the message, share information about it. You can also contact your local representative, because I don't think any of the West Hartford delegation was on either of the committees that the bills were through. So letting them know of its existence and that it's something that you would want them to support if it got to the point that they were voting on it would also be helpful, because we're really trying to spread awareness that people understand what the issue is. So even if we can't get anything this year, that we have something more to build on next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good. Okay, so I think we'll move on to
Looks like
item
Gail might
7.
want to say something.
Okay,
Gail?
thank you for saying
Just
so.
very quickly, Laura, I really appreciated the letter that you and your other 2 librarian colleagues submitted to the Hartford Current in the editorial section. I thought it was exceptionally well written, to the point, and it brought a smile to my face. I just thought it was a really well done, executed, clear letter informing the public about the importance and necessity. And it was good to see your collaboration with the other 2 librarians from 2 other towns.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Everyone all set with Laura's info on that before I move along? Okay. So for item 7, it's the new business concerning policy review, specifically the circulation policy. So Laura has a preview.
Thanks, Eileen. So Eileen and I talked about kind of what would be the best way to handle policy updates, and we thought it would be helpful to tell you that something is coming down the road. So you don't have to do anything tonight. It's letting you know that we're reviewing our circulation policy, and we'll be bringing proposed changes to the board probably at your May meeting. So the circulation policy is what outlines how our circulation works, how long things are checked out for, what the fines are for each item, who gets to have a library card and how that works. And so this is relevant because if the town council approves our proposal to go fine free, then it comes to the library board to approve that on the policy side. And so I'm kind of handling how we would do that as a change to the circulation policy. So it's to let you know that if you're eager to find out more, you could read the policy as it stands on our website. But then when we have some proposed changes for the board to consider, I will be sending those to you in preparation for our next. Just a heads up to get ready for some fun policy talk.
Well, that's great news. Yeah, and it's good to update things and take another look at things that have been going and going and going forever. You know? So. Any questions, discussion, or just thoughts?
Looks like Gail has. Gail,
hi.
Hi, Gail Crockett, library board member. So Laura, I was in one of the branch libraries and to pick up a book, and I don't know how this discussion started, but in the new policies, will you be addressing how you handle books that are taken out and is it called the quick read section?
Rapid reads.
Rapid reads, that's
Rapid
what it was.
reads, yeah.
I think what it was the sign caught my attention because I thought it was one of those, like, you had to read a book in 48 hours. So anyways, when I was like, oh no, that's not what you meant. So the discussion came up with the desk person, who was very concerned, by the way, staff member, about how the library would handle people who took out those rapid read books and they don't come back. I mean, so I don't want to get into it here, but is that going to be something you're going to address in the new policy? Are you aware of some of the staff concerns around that?
I am. It actually came up as a topic on our staff day in March when we were talking about the fine free proposal. Some people asked about that. So just a little behind the scenes, what I've done is I set up a form that staff can fill out with any either comments, questions, or proposals for the existing policy. And I'm meeting with some of my team this week actually to start going through those responses. So that way we can hear from people. So we encourage things like the questions about rapid reads. If there's something clunky about the existing policy that isn't working, this is a good time to address it. If they have any suggestions for us. So we're going to be, that's the opportunity for staff to voice their thoughts and concerns. And I've heard the rapid reads a few times. So we're going to take a look at that. One of the things that is on our mind for the fine-free proposal is it fine-free except a few things? Like we loan out hotspots, and those are very expensive devices. And would those be fine-free? Or would we still have some monetary fine on that because the loss of those is a significant hit to our budget, and there's many people that are waiting for those. So those are some of the things that we're going to talk through as a staff when we figure out our recommendations, and you all will probably want to consider those things as you're thinking about adopting changes to the policy. I'm sorry, the sun is very bright behind me. I'm trying to not blind you.
No. Oh, I see.
Kim Cohen, excuse me, Kim Cohen, library board member. Laura, I know and I've missed a meeting or two, but I know that the fine-free proposal was part of the budgeting information that you had prepared. So the idea that we've been considering this, has sort of been out there a little bit. Have you gotten any feedback other than library staff from it? Has anyone else reached out to you or expressed any excitement or concerns about it? I was just curious.
The town council received it pretty warmly when I presented the budget to them. The town manager has been very enthusiastic and supportive of it. There are other libraries that have contacted me and said, when are you jumping on the fine-free train like the rest of us? I haven't heard from patrons directly, but I have heard from staff where patrons have asked why do I have no fines in Bloomfield and then I come here and you're charging me? So I don't know if they know that it's under consideration, but they know that we're different from some other libraries and they've asked about that.
And then just in response to some of the concerns, just because we update the policy doesn't mean it has to be the new policy forevermore. If something isn't working, we can always revisit it. If people are taking liberties or there needs to be punitive policies tend to be less effective than we think, but I just, we can always revisit it if need be.
Natalie.
Natalia Menjivar, library board member. Laura, I'm sure you're considering all recommendations and suggestions, and we'll think about the policies with your staff. But I thought, just one example, if somebody returns one of those rapid reads beyond the 14-day allotted time, if that happens on repeated occurrence, maybe they could essentially be prohibited from taking out a rapid reads for a period of 3 months or 6 months or, something like that after, 2 or 3 late beyond the 14-day. Just an idea.
And we can also use that data to see how, to both your and Kim's point, how is it impacting checkouts and behaviors? Are there a few people maybe that do it excessively? Is it across the board? Nobody returns rapid reads anymore, so it becomes meaningless. Does everybody love it and they turn everything in exactly on time the way they're supposed to? But it's whatever happens, we'll have the data to see what's going on. So I appreciate the approach of we can revisit this.
Yeah. Both good
or even
ideas.
the rapid read could become a 3-week, instead of a 2-week, that kind of thing too.
Laura, I think that you're right in wanting to keep some items off the fine fee chart, your hotspots, and I forget the first thing that you had said, but because then we'd just be shooting ourselves in the foot possibly if you lose some of those items, but something to consider, as you said, and all good ideas. Everybody else set? And for the next item, or do you have more to add, Laura? Okay.
Thank you for the comments. It's very helpful when we're looking to this. This is my first policy review with you all. So
Yeah. All right, so that's perfectly All right, so we just have item 8 for the library updates with Laura, unless
Yes,
there's no, right?
Yep, I think
Okay.
that's next, unless
Yes.
anyone else says.
Yeah, no, I think that's the last thing before we adjourn. So you're back on.
Thank you. So I wanted to share some things going on at the library and what we've been working on. So this week is National Library Week. It's an opportunity to recognize the importance of libraries and library workers. The public is encouraged to visit their local library and tell their story of what the library means to them. They can post on social media and share with friends. And also Tuesday, as part of the week, is National Library Worker Day. And we're asking everyone to visit the library and thank the workers for their service to the public. Planning is underway for the second annual Gertrude Blank storytelling event. And I'm asking you to please save the date for Tuesday, June 13th. It'll be at 6:30 p.m. and we're holding it at First Church again, which is where we had it last year. We're still finalizing the program, so I will be sharing more information when it's available, but we had a really great event last year and we're excited to have the second annual one this year. We received a grant that I'm happy to share with you from the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving dollars to fund Facts and Fun this summer. This is an annual program that we have that we apply and have been able to receive the funding from them for several years. This covers two-week sessions for first through third and 4th through 6th graders. The program's going to run July 10th to August 3rd. We're going to open registration on May 17th. And unfortunately, the spots are limited, so we've been working out how we can publicize it, but also balance, set expectations for how many people we can take in, because it's a very popular program. And the staff does a really great job of planning a lot of fun activities and keeping the kids very entertained through the summer. Our Noah Webster building is getting some long-needed exterior improvements. If you have been anywhere near our building in the last few weeks, you've seen a big crane. I was hoping maybe they'd be outside my window tonight, but they are touching up they're addressing the windows and the trim on the building. So this is a very long-needed project. We had a lot of peeling paint, crumbling wood, just looking in rough shape. So they're addressing the windows, the trim, like the edges on the top of the buildings, so we can already see the improvement. And this has been in the budget for quite a while, but there's been some scheduling conflicts, so we are so happy that this is actually happening now. And lastly, I wanted to tell you about our seed library. So on March 18th, we launched our brand new seed library. We've been partnering with the West Hartford Garden Club, and they have been such tremendous workers and contributing so much to this project. And so we have seeds, we have flowers, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, and people can come in and take seeds and plant them at home. And this was made possible through generous donations from the Ocean State Job Lot in Bloomfield, Yukon Master Gardeners, and the Hudson Valley Seed Company. We started with over 4,000 seeds. They're all gone. Everyone went.
That's
So
great.
then we scrambled and we bought some more seeds, and the garden club is working on, we got like bulk packaging, so they're working on splitting them up, and we're replenishing our supply. And we've also, not just the seeds, but we're really building a whole program where we're having sessions with master gardeners, programs for kids and adults on how to garden. We're planning some upcoming programs on composting and seed saving. And our intention is that people are able to harvest and donate seeds back to the library so that this will be a sustainable collection. So next year, we'll have the seeds that everyone was able to grow along with any donations or support we can get. People love this. Every day they come in asking where the seeds are. We have little instructional handouts on different types of gardening and thing. And this has been a really great program, and we're so thrilled to see all of the support from the community, the interest in it, and we're excited to keep it going. So those are my updates for you tonight, but happy to answer any questions you may have or give you any more information about what's going on.
Natalia?
Natalia Menjivar, library board member. When you mentioned the seed lending library, it reminded me of a past update you had regarding the puzzle lending library. So like sort of grab a puzzle, take a puzzle, leave a puzzle. And I saw that in a collection in the main floor. I was curious when I was looking through the puzzles, because a lot of them are like 1,000 pieces, if there was a similar program in the children's section with puzzles that are, 150 like sizes. I was curious.
We don't have an exchange down there. We have puzzles out that kids can put together in the library. I'll ask them about that to see if there's been some interest, because like our collection has grown. People bring in more than they take. It's amazing. I'll check in with the team to see if anyone's had any interest or if we've gotten any children's puzzles. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Laura? A thought just popped into my head through the chair, Madam Chair. Gail Crockett, library board member. You said you had been to the Senior Advisory Commission meeting. I'm sorry I didn't get there. I had a very nasty fall that week in Bishop's Corner that left me kind of banged up. And so I was not up to get to that meeting. But my point is, obviously you established a relationship with the Senior Advisory Commission, correct? And Rebecca, right, the director. So my question to you regarding the thing with the puzzles, because I was thinking, do you suppose they would have any interest, the senior centers, of having like a puzzle club where they would borrow a big puzzle from the library and work on it like a week? Because I know that they're always looking for more programs to attract seniors to the centers, Elmwood and Bishops, and that just struck me like a puzzle club might be a good idea in terms of bringing people together who don't necessarily have to have any particular skill. So I just throw that out to you because it would be a great collaboration with the senior centers and the library to maybe have something like that.
Fantastic idea. Thank you. Yes, Rebecca invited us to speak at the commission meeting, and then I've been working with Becky on like potential collaborations in the future. So the timing is perfect. I owe her an update for the bulletin, so I can just tack this onto my email I'm going to send tomorrow, and we'll see what we can do, because sometimes it feels like we've got puzzles coming out of our ears. So let's make use of them. Thank you.
That'll be an excellent idea. It's and they'll all be able to join together and not have to do too much, So, and by the way, I saw good publicity about your seed lending program in the paper, so in the Hartford Current. So, I'm really happy it's taken off like that for you. All right,
timing was rough because we had just run out of seeds, but we love the publicity and we're getting more.
That's right. You had at least one left, right? So, well, I think we're about ready to roll and adjourn, unless anyone has any new items or anything they'd like to talk about. And okay. So may I have a motion for adjournment? Kim?
Kim Cohen, library board member. I move to adjourn.
Okay. Second, Natalia?
Natalia Menjivar, library board member. Second, the adjournment.
And the motion is, is everyone in favor? May I see a show of hands? Okay. And the next meeting is scheduled for May 22nd, 2023. I appreciate your being here tonight, and I hope you have a good month ahead. So.